I have a 4-year-old daughter, Emma. I am an alcoholic and I've been sober for 2 years. My brother was Emma's court-appointed guardian from when she was 15 months old to just before her 3rd birthday. I had to fight for almost a year to get her back. My brother and SIL are still upset that I took Emma from them, and have called CPS on me numerous times, and make it clear that they don't trust me to take care of my own kid. They love Emma and Emma loves them, so I try to take her to see them a couple times a month. A couple weeks ago, Emma caught the stomach flu from someone at her preschool. I'm in school full-time, and had a midterm that day, so I asked my brother to watch her for a couple hours so I could take my test. They said they were happy to take her, so I brought her to their house that morning with her medicines, a schedule saying when she's supposed to take which medicine and the dosage, a bottle of Pedialyte, and a few changes of clothes. I came to pick her up after the midterm and half her medicines, her clothes, and her Pedialyte were gone. When I asked about it, they said they threw away all of her medicines and the Pedialyte because they were liquids, and they were already open, so I could have put something in there to make her sick/sleep, not that it helps much, but I never hurt my daughter or gave her anything that wasn't recommended by her pediatrician. They also said I shouldn't be giving her Tylenol and Motrin, again, her doctor said it's fine, so they didn't buy her any Motrin. Then I asked about the nausea medicine, prescription, and they said they didn't think she needed prescription meds for the stomach flu. They also felt her clothes weren't good enough for her, so they gave it to their neighbor for their garage sale, and bought her new clothes, meaning they most likely took her shopping when she was sick and should have been resting. I left with Emma and haven't spoken to them since except to tell them they will not be allowed anywhere near my kid unsupervised. I'm working on Thanksgiving, so I was going to drop Emma off with my parents, so she could see my family, but I still don't want her to be around them without me, so I'm leaving her with her babysitter instead. Now my family is giving me a hard time for not letting my brother and SIL see Emma, and are excusing what they did by saying they were just worried about her. AITA for not letting my daughter see my brother and SIL. We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1, NTA. Your brother and SIL are sabotaging your recovery and relationship with your child. I wouldn't be surprised to see her talk negatively about you and your history as she gets older. You may need some distance to feel safer and have the mental capacity to deal with them. Comment 2, they are positioning themselves to retake custody of your child. They took away her medicine in the hopes that she will get sicker. Then they will blame you for not giving her the prescription medicine from the doctor. They will do and say anything to reach their goal. I would mention to the police and your child's doctor that they threw out her medicine. What they did was illegal. There needs to be a record of that. Comment 3, ESH. You can't expect them not to be pissed and to behave perfectly when they raised your kid for you, and now you're taking her away from them. OFC, they didn't want to give her back. You were terrible enough at parenting that CPS had to get involved, and now you blame them for not trusting you? I wouldn't trust you either. I couldn't hold myself when my jobless fiance did this horrible thing with the gift my brother gave me right before his illness got him. I 33am lost my 27-year-old brother to cancer a couple of months ago. We were so close and had a lot in common. He was a gamer and had all types of gaming gear, including a gaming chair that he wanted me to have before he passed away. It's devastating because we were really hoping and had plans to spend Christmas 2021 together. This chair I consider special because it was my brother's favorite of all gear, and it reminds me of him whenever I sit in it. I don't play anymore, it just brings me closer to him to a degree I cannot explain, and it brings me so much comfort. I keep the chair in my office, and days ago I found out that my fiance, who has been out of job and complaining about no longer being able to attend the gym, took the chair and sold it online to be able to pay for her next month's gym membership. When I found out, I flipped out hugely and had a very negative reaction. She told me that she was desperate for money, and after selling all she had no choice but to sell the chair. I reminded her of who this chair belongs to, but she said I already have tons of keepsakes from my brother, and so I shouldn't act like it was the end of the world. She also vented about her past eating disorders and her anxiety when it comes to keeping fit, and claimed I was dismissing that she is struggling. I yelled at her and called her inconsiderate and selfish and told her she should have never ever taken and sold any of my stuff for a gym membership when she literally could ve kept working out from home. She started crying as we argued, then she went to stay with her mom who tried to give me a stern talk about my attitude, but I didn't answer that and haven't been talking to my fiance since then. Things haven't got better, and I got called overdramatic for reacting and treating my fiance like that over a gaming chair. I feel guilty because I've never yelled at her in my life before. Ida? Was I too hard on her? We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. You kick it, I swear to God, this needs to happen. It hurts me to see some posts where it feels like the answer is obvious to me, but people are still asking if they're TAH. She stole something important and sold it for her gym membership? Get the hell out of here with that garbage. That's not something someone that loves you does. That's something that someone that loves themselves does. NTA. Sell the engagement ring. OP reply. To be frank, the engagement ring is worth so much more, monetarily of course. My whole issue is mainly about the sentimental value the chair has and the fact that it helped me a lot during my grieving process, but I told her she had to pay to get it back since it was her who took it and spend the money she gained out of selling it. Comment 2. NTA, she stole your property and sold it. Then tried to put it on you by saying you don't care about her eating disorder. Please rethink marriage. If she sold your deceased brother's chair, what is she going to steal from you next? A gym membership is not a necessity. There are literally thousands of free online workouts that she could do. You did not overreact. She is a thief and a liar. OP reply. Precisely. I brought this up during the argument and she accused me of not caring about her anxiety about her body and brought up past arguments about her eating disorders, talking about how unsupportive I have been. I myself am struggling with money since wedding planning pretty much took all my savings, but she wants an extravagant party and so do her parents. Comment 3. Honestly, I'm inclined to believe she is an a-hole. And I'm firmly with everyone here about that. I'm slightly more concerned about the financial situation where she has to sell her possessions to afford things. That type of desperation usually brings out the worst in people, and if you're still using your money how you see fit while she sells stuff, I'm inclined to say you're one too, or that ESH. Update. Some said I went overboard because this is a gaming chair, and it was a bit childish of me to make a fuss over it, but I already explained why I had this reaction aside from the fact that money is an issue we already have. Edit, because I feel like I should add more of her side to the conflict. She told me if say I was struggling and needed money and sold some items she had, then she wouldn't be mad at me, but I'm not sure since I'd never do such thing, but still she insisted that no matter what I do she'll always be supportive and understanding, just like I should be supportive and understanding of her struggle right now. That made me feel horrible because she had a breakdown and cried because of me. Edit, some asked about her age. She's 31 years old, and we've been together for 7 years. I'm sorry for not including that earlier on. I'll answer any further questions when I have the time. My ex-husband was in shock and called me unstable after I did this to keep my daughter safe during his birthday party. Me, 35, F, and my ex-husband, 37, M, got separated 1 year ago. We share custody of our 15-year-old daughter. My ex-husband has her for certain days, and his birthday didn't fall on one of these days. In fact, it fell on one of the days where my daughter is supposed to be with me. He called me so we could discuss letting him have my daughter on the day of his birthday, but I told him no because it is not his day to have her. He got my daughter involved, and she said she really wants to go, but I said no because I have my reasons. My ex-husband dropped it, but on the day of his birthday, I went to pick my daughter up from school, but I discovered that he came and took me straight to the restaurant where his birthday party was taking place. I was fuming. I called him, but he didn't pick up. I then called my daughter, and she said she was with him. I used the location feature to track her phone and got the address. I showed up and interrupted the party. My ex-husband started arguing with me, but I told he had no consent to have my daughter with him that day, but he said my daughter wanted to be there for his birthday. My former MIL tried to speak to me, and I told her to stay out of it, then told my daughter to grab her stuff cause we were going home. My ex-husband and family unloaded on me, and I tried to ignore them and just leave, but my daughter made it hard for me. I took her home eventually and grounded her for agreeing to leave school with her dad when it wasn't his day. Her dad called me yelling about how bitter and spiteful I was to deprive my daughter from attending his birthday. I told him it's basic respect and boundaries, but he claimed it was just me being spiteful and deliberately hurtful towards him, that I didn't even care how it affected my daughter. I hung up, but more of his family members started blasting me on social media, saying I showed up and made a scene at the restaurant. Went as far as calling me unstable.